You say maintain alpha. Again, you're the
Yes.
one that has the money.
Yes.
He has
Yeah.
a house that he can't
Yes.
move. You have cash. How
And
hard is it?
he just got through telling you he's got some dope smoking, blah, blah, blah. I mean,
Yeah.
he's got every pain going on, and you can move him from pleasure, either to pleasure or away from pain. You had you had it good, but I know he was sucker punching you a few times. But just in the future, when that real guy happens, you stand up and command. When he goes, "How are you getting paid?" Don't back off. Just go right into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
He'll respect you.
Yeah. It's okay to laugh a little bit too. I like to break the tension by doing that. If a guy asks me, he says, hey, do you have a website? Back before I had a website, I would say something like this. I'd go, a website? No, I'm a local real estate investor. What in the world do I need a website for? I mean, you're not just looking for somebody with a flashy website, are you? Because, I mean, my grandma's 103 and she's got a website. Don't mean nothing. I mean, you know what I mean? Just like kind of like what he was doing to you. And usually, a guy that sees that you're willing to take the blows and kind of laugh it off and kind of come back with him kind of in a jesting way like that, you can really connect with a hard ass like that sometimes.
Oh, okay.
Almost on a friendly level, where now, I can take your ribbing and you can take mine and we're almost chummy now,
Yeah, like a brother love kind of connection.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but great job, man. He really, really took you to the mats. Had you up against the ropes
Payback's going to be a bitch for me.
One of the things that I learned how to do when I call the seller like this, like a cold call seller, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Most of the times they're gonna catch you. Who is this? Like, hey, my boss sent me someone to call you. Again, I don't know. Is it about a real estate deal? Like, pattern interrupt like that. And like, well, you know what? Did you get my cash offer? Which cash offer? Yeah, my boss told me to call you. He gave me this number. He's like, wait, ma'am. I'm sorry. Don't get upset at me. I'm just doing my job. I'm just following up on this lead. Do you have a house for sale? No? Perfect. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
That helped me overcome the cold calling.
Yeah. That's great advice, Arturo. Yeah. Great advice. I put a thing in the VIP or somewhere a month or two ago. It was Ed Bassmaster. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Ed Bassmaster. He's a comedian. He's on YouTube. I think that's the only place he is. You should look him up. But what he does is he gets on Craigslist and he dresses up funny like a hillbilly from the mountains or something. And he calls people on Craigslist and he'll say, yeah, you got that refrigerator? I'm calling about that refrigerator you got from Craigslist.
I saw that video.
Yeah. And the guy says, how'd you get my number? Or I'm calling about your refrigerator for sale or your chickens or whatever it was. How'd you get my number? And we hear that all the time, guys.
Yep.
And his response was beautiful. Ed Bassmaster's response, he said, I don't know. My mom gave it to me or something. I don't know. I didn't look at no Craigslist. You got chickens for sale? Like, really? Perfect. My mom gave it to me. I don't know. Who cares? Are you selling chickens? Like, that's really what I'm calling about. I'm not calling about, do you have a house to sell? Would you like to sell a house? Great. Because I'm looking to buy one. Absolutely. One way or another today. I'm in a hurry. So I'd like to talk to you. I'd like to ask you a few questions. My only critique, Aiden, is you took forever to get the agenda out. You notice that?
Yeah.
He was already kicking you in the pants for like 5 minutes before you got to the agenda.
Before you did anything, yeah.
So you got to make sure you set the stage with the agenda right away. And then later on, when he was kicking you in the pants, you forgot to go back to the agenda a little bit.
Yeah.
No, sir. Do you have a website? No, sir. I'm just a local real estate investor and I'm looking to get my next property deal. I don't have a website. I wanted to call you and ask you a few questions. That's it. You can ask me some. If it's not a good fit, fire me. Is that cool? That's the agenda. You go right back to that every time, well, you're going to make money on this. How are you going to make money on this? Well, I'm a real estate investor. Yes, I want to do a situation with you where I can put some great tenants in there. And yes, I'm going to make a little bit of money from them. but I also want this to be a great solution for you. Is that reasonable or not?
Yeah.
See how
Yeah.
I see, you know, when the guy's like, hey, I really want 375 instead of 350. You could have tied him down a little more. You could have said, okay, well, would you consider if I draw up this stuff right now where we did 5 years and we gave you 375 instead of the 350, is that something that you'd be ready to do today or maybe not? You see, I'm really saying, hey, listen, don't jerk me
Yeah.
around here. I want to know enough information to fill out the document and get it to you. What is acceptable to you? Is that acceptable? Yes or no? No. Why is that not acceptable to you? Oh, you need more money down. Okay, let's talk about that. Now, if I can draw up the agreement to reflect that, are you today? No, you're not. Okay, what's the problem? You want to have final say on who moves into your property. Okay, if I draw up the agreement where you are in the driver's seat and you have the ability to approve or disapprove the tenant before they move in, I'll show you all the background stuff that we did on them and everything, and you can be the guy that makes the final choice. If I put that in the agreement today and send that over to you, is that something you'd sign? You see, I'm always going back to how do we get a deal here? How do we get a deal? If I accommodate you, will you accommodate me? You see where I'm going with this? So that's how you were a little loosey goosey with that, but he was really beating you up too a little bit. So no fault there. You did a great job.
So okay, yeah, thank you, appreciate that. What about bonding? Was there any opportunity to bond with this guy? I guess.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll let Mitch speak more to this because he is the guy. So Mitch, when and how could he have bonded, built more rapport with you on an instantaneous basis like that?
And again, I went real hard on you, just so you know. You could have, when I started talking about the pain, you could have like just brought that out and got me to focus on the pain and related to that, like what I did in the example of, oh, sir, I had a rental like that with junkies in there. So you could have got me to focus on the pain and what I'm going to do about it. Like, wow, you got junkies in there. How are you going to get them out? What are you going to do if they're in there in 3 weeks? What is that doing to the value of your property? Has it been condemned by the city? Are the police showing up? So you could have bonded with me on that.
Yeah. You see how Mitch is doing that? He does it slightly different than I do it, but it's the same technique. Yes, sir. I've got a buddy that had a rental property that just went through something like that, and man, it was an absolute nightmare. His hair was falling out, and his wife and him were fighting and stuff, and turns out the house was demolished on the inside. Oh, is that what you're talking about? Are you going through some of that? You see, he was basically saying the same things in his own way. But that's the bonding, I know a guy. I know a guy. I feel your pain and I understand you. Isn't that amazing? They don't give a shit about me and my offers and what I want until they know that what they want, they're going to get. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah. Okay.
Does that make sense where I'm coming from, or did I just confuse everyone?
Would you mind doing it the same role play, Mitch, and have Justin maybe make it like a 5-minute conversation with you guys the same way that you did it the first time? Just let's see how Justin does it. Okay, don't go the whole 10 minutes, just 5 minutes, so I can Nick pick up.
Why don't we just pick up like where I tell him? He says, "Is the house rented?" And I'll tell him I'll start talking about my pain.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So you say the house is rented right now?
I got these tenants. They've been in there like 9 months.
9 months.
I'm not happy with them though.
Oh, what? You're not happy with them? Why not?
The police are showing up twice a week. I think they're doing drugs there.
Oh.
My neighbors are complaining. It's just, this is not what I got into the landlord business for. I'm getting real frustrated with this. I just want to get rid of them. I'd like to have good tenants.
Mitch, I don't blame you, man. I am a real estate investor myself. Like I said, when we got on the conversation here, I'm looking for my next property deal. But believe me, not only me, but some of my friends, my closest friends have gone through that. And there is nothing that I can think of that's more stressful than that. And somebody living in your asset that you worked hard to get, and now you're scared that they're going to tear it all up and who knows what, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm kind of done. This is not what I thought landlording would be.
Yeah, I totally feel you. I agree with you, and it can be very, very tough. Have you considered selling the place then, or are you just going to go through the gauntlet with those folks, or what's your end racket, man?
I'll tell you this: if you called me a month ago, I would have said no. You're talking to me today. It's looking a little bit better. I would like to get them out and clean the place up, but they've still got a lease, and they've got some free lawyer that they've been, hanging out with. So
yeah,
I don't know if I want to deal with this, and in another 3 weeks, I got a mortgage I got to pay on this property. I'm taking money out of my pocket. They haven't paid in 3 months.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That doesn't feel good either. And I've been there
too.
Throw
in, ask him if are you a wholesaler? Are you buying it yourself? Or because I get a lot of calls of wholesalers trying to buy it.
Yeah, so you're an investor. Are you like those guys on TV? You come in and you buy it and you're going to fix it up?
I wish I was one of those guys on TV. No, not really. I think they live in a phony world. It's much more real out here where I live. But yes, I'm a local investor. I'm looking to get a property there in that neighborhood. In fact, I'd love to do something really quickly, and I just haven't found the right one yet. And so that's why I called you.
Oh, you're local? So I live in North Vegas. Where are you?
Yeah, actually, my office is based in Kansas City, but we do investments right there in Clark County in Nevada.
Oh, you've done stuff here.
Mm-hmm. That's why I'm calling you. Me and my partners, we love Kansas City, but we also love Clark County, Nevada. In fact, I got married there. Elvis Presley did the ceremony. I almost said Elvis
ceremony too.
I almost said Elvis Presley did the funeral, but it was actually much better than that.
So what do you want to do with the property?
Well, what I want to do is ultimately I want to put some good people in there and make some money. We've been through the trials and errors too, man, and we've developed some systems that allow us to have some success with it. So we've probably been where you are. And it's a tough racket, man, and we understand that. So, but really, I don't know what would suit you best. What is it that you'd like to see happen by the end of this conversation? If I had a magic wand and I could make anything happen, which I don't, but I wish I did. Maybe I do. But what would you like to see happen at the end of this?
Ideally,
call?
I'd like to get some tenants in there that are nice people paying the rent. But if I can't, I might be forced to sell it.
Might be forced to sell it.
Yeah, it might be. I don't want to keep. I'm 83 years old. I can't keep dealing with this the rest of my life. It's very stressful.
Well, would you consider a cash offer today?
I guess it depends what it is.
And if we were to buy the house and your problem tenant, both, what would be the best deal that you could do for me? What's the house worth, and what do you got to have for it?
Well, as I looked on Zillow, it looks like it's about $325. But it's kind of rough condition.
Okay. That's the after repair value. If it was in great shape, $325.
I think about, yeah, it needs some work. They've torn it up.
What do you got to have out of it?
Well, my mortgage is $220.
Okay.
I got to get some money out of this. I have to talk to my wife. She's on the deed also, so I need to make a decision with her.
Yeah. You have to get some money out of it? What do you mean?
As much as possible. I got to pay the bank off, so they're owed $220.
So definitely you got to get at least $220. But what beyond that are you talking about?
I'd like to get $50,000. I got to double check it with my wife, but I'd like to get 50. I'd be a happy camper with that.
Ooh, that's tough. How am I gonna? I'm a real estate investor, Mitch. How am I gonna make money?
I don't know. You're a smart guy. You have to figure that out. It's not my job.
Well, no, I agree with that, but man, it's awful tight for me. You couldn't do any better than that.
I'll have to check with the wife.
Well, I understand that. I've got one of them too. My wife says it's okay if you sell it to me for what you owe, but I'm okay, with that too. But you better talk to yours.
She's not home right now. She's having her back waxed. She'll be back in a couple days.
Okay. Yeah. I understand. How about this, Mitch? You sound like an intelligent man, and I like you. You're old school, You sound like to me like you once you decide something's the right thing, you do it. And until
I give
then,
you my word. My word's my bond.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I could tell that about you just from visiting with you for a couple minutes, and I like that. I feel like I'm that way too. So how about this? I don't want to twist your arm or force you into anything. Like I told you when we got on the call, it's okay to tell me no if it's not a good fit.
I don't know. It might be. You know, what could you offer me? Could you offer me 270?
No, there's no way.
What's
Because
the best you could do?
Because it needs work, you know, and I'm going to make it like Homes and Gardens TV. Okay. So I've got to have some money there to do it with, and give you what you owe for. We might be able to do that. If you were to even carry the note for me for a couple of years, I'll fix your problem over there and get rid of it, and I'll make a little money in the process. But then so will you. So, you know, there's some things we can do, but I need you to, you know, you got to decide if you want to or not. So, you know, I'm all about buying it. If you're all about selling it, you just need to say yes.
Well, I'd say the more cash in my pocket, the more likely to say yes.
Okay. Well, you know, let's just shoot straight with each other. I don't want to negotiate against myself. So
yeah, because if you're just going to give me 220, I might as well just do a deed in lieu to foreclosure and give it back to the bank.
Okay. Well, what about 220 plus 5?
It's too low. 5,000, really?
Well, it's better. It's better than deed in lieu. I mean, I don't know. You tell me, and I'll draw up the agreement and I'll get it over to you, and you and your wife can go over it, and we'll talk again, answer any questions you have.
How close to 270 could you come? What's the best you can do?
235.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Let me talk with the wife. She's back on Friday. She's going to be in a little bit of pain. Her back's going to be all torn up, but so I'll talk to her on Friday. If you want to give me a call on Saturday.
Okay, Mitch. I would like to do that. I'm really looking to buy something, man, quick. I'm not trying to push you either, but at the same time, you know, maybe this isn't a good fit. If I can put it off till Saturday morning, can we talk then and either move forward or no, one or the other?
I think that's fair.
Okay, 10 a.m. on Saturday morning. I'll send this info over to you right here. Yeah. Just a little about me.
Yeah.
What's your email? Blah 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 blah. Okay.
Yeah.
We're good. All right. So that's the wrap on that. What do you think now? Critique me and pick me apart, guys, and don't be ashamed to. I'm only human. And then we'll call it a night, guys, because we're really kicking each other's asses tonight, man.
It's good. One question, Justin. If like in the initial conversation when Mitch told Alan, hey, are you a wholesaler or are you gonna buy this? Because I have a lot of people calling me and they're not actually buying; they're wholesaling it. I don't want you to make money off of me. Are you a wholesaler or are you gonna buy it yourself with your own cash? How would you answer that direct question?
Well, you know, if you're asking the question directly, you're the homeowner. We're role playing right now.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, Mr. Homeowner, I guess technically you could call me a wholesaler. I'm a real estate investor. I'm a fix and flipper. I'm a lot of things. I'm a landlord. You know, I do a lot of things. You know, I don't want you to think I'm a scam or anything. And if that's how you feel about me, maybe we got off on the wrong foot. And if I ended this already, is this over already, or can we go ahead and talk? I'm a local investor, and I'm just looking to buy my next property deal.
No, because I just get a lot of calls, and again, I get a lot of young kids telling me that they have $300K to pay for my house, and it just sounds scammy.
Yeah. Well, here's what I want to do. If you're interested in selling your house, I want to buy your house. I'd like to put it under a contract, and I'd like to get some people in there to take a look at it and make sure that we're getting what we think we're getting. And I'd like to close in less than 2 weeks or 2 weeks or less. Is that something that we can talk about, or maybe not?
That's perfect. That's perfect. I love how you said it. That's something that I don't get often, but I do get. And my main thing is like the way that I phrase it, it's a little bit different, but I think your method is much smoother where you put it on them. Is this a deal breaker or can we still continue?
Exactly. Yeah. And once they agree that it's not a deal breaker, we're taking this subject off the table forever and ever. Amen. Because we have both come to an agreement on this. I'm never going to bring it up again, and you should never either. That's my mentality on it. So, that's my flow on that. I was going to say something else and I forgot. Oh, this one though, guys, if you go this route, you might consider a double closing if it's a cash offer like this. Because why? Anybody tell me why you would want to consider a double closing instead of an assignment closing?
Well, he's already all over the place, and the seller just
yeah.
At that point, I probably wouldn't want to share much with the seller at all.
Yeah, so a double closing would really isolate the seller's exposure to what you're doing, and it would probably be easier to close, especially Texas, if your assignment fee is large. I got a general rule, guys. Find your own sweet honey pot, but here's mine. 10K and less, I'll assign all day long. 10K and above or above 10K, I'm double closing.